They did call me on that last night and then text me again. Hey, that's just available. I'm like, dude,
those people is the main, but it's right in the main. Heavy.
Is it really seems to be very good?
From last week?
Oh, man.
From last week? Yeah. No? Ricky?
Those hockey pucks?
You guys can see it.
Oh, you're here.
You get it?
It's not. They need their binders. Yeah.
I don't know it. Should I get money?
Yeah. I'll ask you.
You guys are late, you don't get your money.
Well, I was trying to get the money and I didn't have time, so. Sorry. Yeah, this is a second. Hey. Yeah, no. Yeah, I was trying to look for you. We're gonna start. Sorry, can I call you back? Oh, really? That's awesome. Oh, I gotta totally hear more about that.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, well, okay, yeah, tell me later. All right, bye. Okay, sorry, guys. It's been a crazy morning. Dang. Did you get the slideshow put together?
You said you were going to do it.
No. No, on the way to Idaho, you said you were gonna do that.
No, I said I would get the money, and if I did have the money, I mean, this came from the bank.
Well, then where is it?
I don't know.
All right, okay, we can probably.
James was here, but he couldn't.
James,
would have let you know.
Can you do a slideshow for us? Well, okay, we could just do a review from last week. You know what we should do? We should do more of those practices we've been doing, like the what's your best price thing.
Good idea.
Let's do that today. You guys cool with that? We were really busy yesterday. We were gone. We had to go down the road.
We got the turntable up, so that was good. We didn't have time to set it up, but Eric used his big muscles and helped us lift that stuff, and it worked out good. So, thank you.
Dude, sorry.
I feel like this is like some fakery, like you guys are acting, like really bad acting.
We're cardio, it's not acting, it's what you expect.
Why, that's what I'm saying, it's bad, like it's bad acting. Like, just kidding you guys, we were prepared. You guys are never prepared.
Nobody's perfect, so most things don't go good. So, let's at least do, let me get the code from well,
Give us a little bit of grace. Why don't we do this? Why don't you guys go back out there, find Clint Curtis, because I don't know where the freak he is this morning.
Should be out. I mean,
He should be here, right?
should be.
if one of you could call him, give us a second to gather our thoughts, we'll get the code.
Yeah. We'll get on with that. So if you guys don't mind.
Oh, my spine.
So, let's still let you know.
Sorry, guys. Thank you.
morning.
Good morning.
I'm gonna start on the table, take a tour of this one. Actually, it's okay. Help me grab this plate.
We have this little right here.
Oh, you're. so much for joining us.
Welcome.
Everybody as well, good evening. Thank you so much.
Yeah, there it is.
I've got a seat prepared for you right here.
Like Fagan.
Mr. Bless,
Ms. Molina, Columbia Sled, there.
we have the pleasure to serve you this morning. We have two delicious beverages, Hershey's chocolate milk or farm fresh apple juice.
And squeezed. So, would you prefer apple juice or chocolate?
Whichever you prefer.
Let me know when, otherwise I'll go about 3/4.
So. Better like that.
I think it is.
Mr. Rogers. Just looks like
Mr. Bless, would you prefer juice? Mr. Parkin, would you
Apple juice? Okay.
And Mr. Fagan, would you prefer juice?
I would prefer juice.
We'll have them.
Oh, okay, some of it.
Good idea.
Yeah.
The juice? Enjoy.
Oh, Mr. Fagan would prefer juice.
Mr. Curtis, will you have?
And Mr. Martin, Mr. Fagan would prefer juice.
One more. Very good. The popular choice of the evening. And squeeze.
It's
What a pleasure to have us with you this morning. Thank you so much. We appreciate your kind participation and your presence. We welcome you. Please enjoy your delicacies as we offer some very valuable and insightful sales training this week.
Very good. Enjoy.
Somebody first.
All right.
Okay.
Well, round of applause for that,
Thank you for playing along. JD, trying not to spoil what we
Hey man, my spidey senses are like, what's going on, man? Something weird. It's
It's a little clue when you're trapped out in the waiting area.
But that's way more than just that. He had sandals on. You had a hat turn around.
I like sandals. All right. So, number 14, we've only got a few more after this. So,
All right.
2 more. So we'll have next week's, and then the 20th will be our final one. And we'll do our award ceremony with our plaques, or Sharpen's Crusade plaques. But we're going to start off with the cash. This is the highest week of cash ever. $1,400 bucks. by far the highest. I don't want to steer Ricky's thunder because he deserves everything he's earned, but Ricky's not on the list.
What?
Come on, no.
Next week, though, you guys better watch out.
Well, I will say, from here to here are all old age that aren't funded yet, so next 2 weeks, a bunch of these. If they're ready. Remember, on the 20th of the morning of the 20th, it's over. So, okay, all right. In order was, Susan has an envelope prepared for you. Kia Soul, Hyundai Accent, $200. Awesome.
Nice job.
Raphael, yep, thank you. Raphael, Yukon XL, $100 for Mr. Portins.
You are set.
Sir Thomas Ross III, is that right? Making sound like Esquire Incorporated. Okay, a huge amount, $300. And a couple of Grand Caravans. Okay? Oh, and an Acadia, it's $400. Yeah, it should be $400. If you think I've overpaid, you can get it. Okay, Eric, on the Civic that we saw rolling with the temporary command, I saw that. Old age Honda Civic.
Excellent.
Okay. We have Marcos.
JD Marcos and
Okay.
James.
Okay, Awesome. JD on a Ford Fusion 2014, 94 days.
Was it that white one?
Yep.
Awesome job, thank you.
Marcos, Toyota Tacoma. Does that sound right?
Oh, dude, the one with the wheels?
Yeah, the four-cylinder one, right?
Nice job.
Yeah,
And the four sets of wheels.
And since Curtis isn't here, like, I don't know how this is. These are under James and Curtis, but it's like $400.
And it feels heavy, there's a lot of
Yeah,
money.
it's $400. $300 a Traverse, a Cruise, and a Veloster. So, great job. $1,400 cash. Okay. So we mostly want to start a discussion with you guys. But you know, we've talked a little bit about when customers are making a decision to purchase something. Oh, wait a minute.
I got it.
Yeah, you can grab your notes if you want. Okay, now we're ready. You want to get out, I got Sharpen on your hands.
I'm like 9 years old.
Okay, thanks, Ricky, for reminding me. Okay, so this idea that when customers are making a purchase, there's a logical side, there's an emotional side. When we talked about, they're actually both really important. These two images kind of represent that, they go hand in hand. When people feel good logically and they feel good emotionally, light bulb goes on, ding. So, we're going to talk a lot today about things that we can do to create those positive emotions with our customers, that they don't have that sense of feeling settled, confident, reassured, comfortable, and want to make a decision to do business with Tom or with Rafa or whoever. So that's mostly what this conversation is going to be, but maybe Clint will get us started with a comparison of the two experiences that you guys just had.
Yeah, I mean, I wanted to start off and just kind of open it up for a quick discussion. Why do you guys think that we did that? Like, what were the takeaways? What were the thoughts? JD already had
It's
some.
uncomfortable.
Okay, tell me about that.
Well, I don't know you guys as well as these guys do, and I'm like, this is bullshit, something's weird, man. I was like, they're gonna come in here and like with a whole new staff and like tell us to train them, and then like we're fired. And, like,
So you felt very unsure.
yeah, I mean, I'm sure.
Well, I'm sorry, man. I literally thought it was Thursday.
Well,
No, freak, dude. Like I was at the freaking store, dude.
you got
Hey.
allergies.
This is the real life experience of what we tried to portray.
This is part of the thing, right?
No, it was late, man. You were late. It was late. I was late for sure.
What you're doing right now is exactly what Clint and I just did.
We just started the meeting.
You'll have to watch the
Yeah,
video.
you have to watch it. Anyway, so you felt a little bit unsure.
I think you mispronounced weird.
Okay.
It was just, well, I mean, it was different because, like, I don't know, I just knew that my spidey senses were like, bro, something's not, yeah.
Yeah, so it felt weird, thank
So
you.
I didn't mean to like call you out.
No,
That was good.
Oh, you called him out?
Yeah.
You?
You gotta watch the video.
I will watch the video.
Okay, what else? Why did we do this? Why did we go to the effort to do this? What are the takeaways?
There's two sides, like if they, let's be in as a customer, you go to a place, car business or doctor or whatever. If you go to the doctor appointment, the doctor is like dressing like really bad, you say like, no, I'm not gonna. You need an operation, no, buddy. I will not do that only and run, you know. It's like, it's the way you feel at the first time, like.
First
How you wanna feel, if you go at what the example I say, you know, if you go to the doctor and you say, no, he told you you need an operation, you say, no. You relate it to how you dress or how you present yourself to people, you know? It's, I think every business is, I'm not expecting a mechanic to be in a dress suit, you know? You know, it's, depends on what we do, is how we dress, basically, and it's kind of like rule in life, you know? I don't know, I think it's what it is. If we go to church, we look like different. I think we go to church, but I mean, doesn't look right sometimes, you know?
There's no second shot for the first impression.
But what's the feeling when you got there?
What else?
To make us see the difference between one side and another one, but the first impression has to go along with the attitude, how you treat the customer, how you make them feel welcome,
How did it feel when you came in and you were just sitting here and we were on the side? How did that feel for you personally? Yeah. What the hell? Get up early for this?
Well, so Ricky wanted to
We don't have meetings. I don't.
Yeah, maybe they forgot,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So maybe a little bit confused.
Yes.
A little, okay.
Then how did you feel when you walked in the second day?
So this.
Nice. Did you notice how that we shook your hands and said your name as you walked in?
Yeah.
How does that make you feel versus when you just walk in and no one acknowledges you?
That you know me, so that you say my name and you give me
Awesome.
I think you're getting the gist of what happened now.
Yeah,
You're solving the mystery.
Rafa, what do you think?
Two sides, you know, like the second impression was, you know, you dress with suits. It's more professional, you look professional, the customer, we feel like more important, more like welcoming. You care for customers when you know the names, when you, you know, I feel like more important than the second.
I think it depends on the customer, because some customers can feel intimidating. So, and it depends.
That's actually.
It has to be like go along with the attitude.
Well, look, you just try to impress some of us, and then you impress us, you know, you change everything. You know, like, you just try to do something, and then, I don't know, somebody else can do something worse, or, you know, like, I don't know, I don't know if that's part of the, what you guys expect. It's just being honest, we thought that, you know, like, do it on purpose, you know, because you guys said, hey, you know, please just come late.
Oh,
right, right.
It was another object lesson. It was a nested object
Yeah,
lesson.
so that way, you know, like, areas call things like, hey, where are you using? And
Yeah, he FaceTimed
Oh,
me,
yeah.
and I was driving, and he's like, oh, he really is driving.
yeah, I don't know,
Thinking it was part of the
that makes everything like real.
Yeah.
So he said, hey, look, something going on, and then Eric called Finn, he's like, okay, I don't know.
Yeah.
That's true, I don't know.
So you guys were kind of wondering though, you were a little unclear.
Dude, Clint ran through the door naked and Steve was chasing me. We were just, that worked.
And then there was like a vision on a tricycle, like,
Hey, guys!
I said, no car, please get on the tricycle.
He wasn't the tricycle.
look, you're on the tricycle.
I was part of it.
All right, one more. Tom, what do you think? What is your impression? Like, why did we do this?
Well, obviously to illustrate the difference of what it's like to be organized and prepared. When you came in and everything was disorganized, you know, there was trash, James picking up trash, he had a little thing of thieves over there, and chairs were cooking. And you walk in and you think, okay, like, is this place abandoned? Okay. And then come out, second pressure, the second time, you know, obviously everything's in order. And it illustrates the importance of being prepared, looking and being professional, how we treat customers. You know, they want to feel like we're professional, like we're here to do business, that we're here to treat them the way that they want to be treated with respect, and that we're gonna be reliable enough that they can trust us. You know, and so it's obviously like two sides of.
That's beautiful, thank you.
I like it.
Sorry, so as we go through the process with this other project that I'm working on, one thing that I'm constantly analyzing and honing is friction, right? You want everything to be as smooth as possible, right? You know, and little details make a world of difference, you know, and it applies here too, you know. So I find myself analyzing and trying to think about all those little doors that you can close so that you have the best chance of making a first impression that's going to be memorable, and it's going to be different, and it's going to make the person feel special. Because even though the sales process is super monotonous for us, because we've done it every day, for them, this is something that they do once every 3 years, right? Or as James' customer, once every 6 months. You know?
Yes.
And so, you know, so we just got to, you know, think through, okay, how do I make them feel special, right? How do I, because the guys at Larry's Miller, they dress up nice too, right? You know, right? But what are the little things, the little details, the users by name, having this, right? I mean, how does this apply to a car deal, you know? Do we put, when we're delivering the car, do we put the floor mats in for them, you know, and not just take the stickers off, and just wash the window for a second and spray some tire shine, and have them see us do that. You know what I mean? Because there's something psychological there that makes them feel special.
These people care.
And then, oh my gosh, these guys really do care. And I want my friends and my family to come here. This is different, you know what I mean? So that's what I take from it.
One of the things that I've often thought about over the years is how do we meet and exceed the customer's expectation? So when they walk into a dealership, they already have a perception of what it's going to be like. They have an idea of what the salesman looks like. They have an idea of how he's going to act, the process, what the car's going to look like, how it's going to drive. You know, the whole system that we have in place, they have an expectation for it. And if we fail to meet that expectation, we're not doing our job.
I had something interesting happen yesterday on a deal where the guy came in, he just come from Larry's Miller, he was like this redneck dude, and they come in from Vernal, and they've been looking at a Ford Escape. Anyways, and so I went out, you know, and did my thing, and did the pressure up, whatever, let him look around for a minute, said I'm not gonna stand over his shoulder, try to be friends with it. The dude had his sunglasses on, just like, you know, yeah. Anyways, it was funny though, when I got him inside to show him, I landed him on a car, and when I got him inside, just for fun, because we have our office set up differently now, so that there's a desk up here on the upper level of the office, and then there's just a couple of couches and a coffee table. Well, I had my laptop on me, so I worked the deal on the coffee table with my laptop, and had him sitting on a couch not across from me, but on the side, and the demeanor in the guy totally changed once we sat down in that environment as opposed to at a table.
Interesting.
And it was super weird, dude, but like all of a sudden his sunglasses were off and he was like totally relaxed and like just like it's like we're kicking it and we're friends, you know. I don't know, it was cool. They ended up buying car stuff. It was great, but it was funny how just something small like that, you know, like that, I could see the difference.
Can I point out one thing about your comment?
Yeah.
Which is amazing. Remember our Sherlock Holmes? Notice how many little things he's looking at, like sunglasses on, guy, you know, standoffish. Right.
Yeah.
And then sits down, and then he noticed the demeanor change, like that he's tuned into those clues. I mean, those are important things. So, great comment and very interesting. Let's go ahead and silence our phones. I'll do mine right now too, sir.
Mine on the beginning was,
Yeah, that was intentional.
It is silence. What the hell's going on?
Coronavirus.
You guys have already touched on a bunch of really important things we can do to kind of create those feelings. You know, as you guys talked about your views of the first two experiences, a lot of you did talk about how it felt, and that's where we want to focus. So Clint and I brainstormed some ideas. You guys have already brought up some others. We're going to just go through some slides and touch on some things that we can do that don't cost us really any money, any effort. Those little details.
Disneyland.
Nah, you always think you do that.
No, it's a little blurry, but that dude's a homeless guy.
Oh, Valley too.
This is. So we'll go through some of these, and some of them will be new, some of them you've heard, but reminders are always good. So one of them is, the way that we feel inside about somebody does come out, whether we know it or not. So if I'm looking at Ricky, and Ricky, this is fake, okay? But if I'm thinking, dude, that guy doesn't freaking cut his hair, he's like, whatever.
You say it's fake, come on.
But I'm thinking those in my head, whether I know it or not, on some level, that judgment, my judgment of Ricky as I'm talking to him as a customer, is gonna get expressed, whether I know it or not, whether I agree or not. Eric, can we pick on you to tell us a story about backpack dude?
Yeah, so, do you remember this when we had a customer walking in? He looked like completely homeless. Everyone was treating him bad. Get him into the lot, and he's like, "I'm here to buy a car today," but he was like completely homeless. Do you remember this?
I remember this one. I mean,
Yeah.
it's happened to me before.
Yeah. So he comes in. He looks like trash. He's like, "Hey, I'm ready to buy a car, but they have anything going on." So I'm just like, "Okay, you know what? We're just gonna help him the best we can." And let him drive a few cars, and then by the end of it, like, I'll treat him like just like any other person. He tells me, he's like, you know, I've been through so many dealerships and
Nobody cares.
yeah, and nobody treated me the way you guys did. And then I pulled out a backpack and he has cash in his backpack, and he like walk in homeless.
And the car, he didn't park the car really, he parked the car like a couple blocks, so we thought that he was walking.
So he did own a different car.
Yeah.
That he came in.
And then he's like, Eric, dude, he's homeless. Yeah, and then I said, come on, okay, let me just talk to this guy. So, being honest, I don't know, we didn't want to, like, talk to him because he looked like homeless, like, completely, like, looks pretty bad.
Get it right.
Yeah, and then had a catch, on the back.
And the reason he bought it is because you didn't judge him and you weren't getting those vibes of thinking like, this guy's an idiot. Or whatever.
Can I tell you my story about when we called the cops on customers last week?
Yeah, does that help us? Okay.
So, 3 tweakers, that's meth for you guys. Comes in our lot, shitty car, like shitty car, dogs in the back with the whole deal. They come in, there's 3 of them, there's 2 guys and a girl. They are tweaking, they're on meth. I don't deal with any crap anymore, especially with my stuff getting stolen. They're walking around the lot. One is as far as you can get over here, one as far as you can get over here, one is in the middle. They're opening up every single door, looking at the dash, and then closing the door, and going from car to car, car to car, car to car. And I said, oh, Spidey senses, this is not right. So I called the cops, it's not an emergency, I said, but there's some, this is not right, like this is not right. So the cops pull in, they back into the thing. Marcos had left to go eat lunch, and they come in. Like that, Marcos went and talked to him, and then they came and talked to me. Cigarette smoke. One guy's like looking at the cop, like I'm at the desk. He's like looking. He's like, where are the cops here, man? Where are the cops here? And I'm like, oh, that's weird. I don't know. The building's empty. Sometimes they, whatever. So the guy, one of the other guys, goes out there to move his car because he's pissed off. Like, where are your customers supposed to park? I said, just park over here, it's fine. So he goes out there. Long story short, the lady is like, they're not buying anything, right, in my mind, but I treat them the same. So mom's got, the girl, the mom's co-signing, and I'm like, yeah, okay. But I'm like, okay, yeah, just have her go to our website, have her fill out the application, because she's not there with us or whatever. She's like, I'm looking at this Fusion, and so I'm like, okay. So they leave, after they're sitting there for 15 or 20 minutes, because they don't want to, because the cops wait for them to leave, and they're waiting for the cops to leave, and so they take a right, and they go right up to Provost, and the street the cops can't do anything, right? So then the cop comes talk to me. I was like, dude, like something's weird, like it was just, I'm just being cautious, and he's like, he goes, did you get the name of the other guy? And I was like, I didn't get any of their names. I got the girl's name, but I didn't get any of the guys' names. He was like, oh, well, I already know the girl and the other guy, like the cops, and I'm like, oh, okay. So anyways, 45 minutes later, she says, hey, did you get the app? Mom sends in an app, 780 score. We do the deal. It was like a $4,000 deal or something. and they're happy as all can be.
So if you're cautious, cops, you got.
Right.
We should call cops on our.
Yeah, 100%. That's
If you don't buy a car, you could.
Right.
That'd be kind of like throwing this in your face, right?
But then getting them a towel to clean the
Yeah,
stuff off.
You want to give a 30-second recap of yours or should we?
Okay, this was a story that happened to me a lot of years ago, but it was a bad story. It's a cautionary tale. So I'm out on the lot with some white trash customers, and I don't know if this happens to you guys.
You said
but-
white trash, you pointed at me.
That's right. You'll be white on that side.
Roosevelt, you know. You got where it comes from.
Oh, he pointed because of the vernal.
Okay, I understand, I know that.
And so, I don't know if this happens to you guys, but I was prejudging the people, and I didn't realize it, but I was just being an ass to them. And so I'm helping them, but I'm being very, my whole demeanor is like, I hate you, why are you here, you're wasting your time. The guy called me out on it. He's like, why are you being such an asshole to me? And it was like a huge pattern interrupt, and it just like scrambled my brains. Like I wasn't intentionally doing it, but it called me to the carpet and it just made me realize. So of course, after my brain got unscrambled, in a few minutes, I started treating them totally different and much better. And it helped me to remember going forward, like, hey, people can tell the way that I feel inside, they can tell. So, it kind of comes back to that thing out of Pog Mandino, like, just say, hey, I love you. But inside your mind, when you're greeting the people, just have that love and compassion for where they're coming from, and the way that you act will be totally different.
Awesome. Okay. Next one, I don't think we have a slide for. We're not going to talk about it much, it's not this one. How our locations look, how organized they are, how clean they are, how they smell. One thought that came to my mind, Clint Curtis has told me about times he's cleaning the disgusting toilets. So that's, I think all we need to say on that, but.
I judge restaurants based on how clean the bathrooms are. I've left restaurants before, right?
Yeah,
The bathrooms, they leak and they're not clean. I'm like, dude, what else is going on right there? I'll leave.
Yeah, it's true.
Appearance matters.
Appearance matters,
You
yeah.
told me that a dozen times over the years, so it's true.
Okay, let's talk for a minute about this one. So what do you guys take from that right there?
Pac-Man 2020.
Is that a Pac-Man dude?
He's like,
I mean, this to me is one of the easiest things that we can do, but just if we're smiling a lot at the people, and we're gonna talk in a minute about even when we're on the phone with people, and we'll talk about why, it makes a big difference. I mean, it just changes how we feel. And maybe to the point of it feels almost cheesy to us is probably about the right amount. I mean, I'm no expert on it, but oftentimes we get in the habit of just not smiling. So we should help each other with that throughout the day. When we see each other, remember, smile, smile. You want to try a call or we want
You guys want to do an experiment? We haven't
This
staged
might
this,
backfire.
so we don't know if this will work or not. But I'll
I
tell
don't
you.
believe anything you guys say this morning. So, whatever it is, let's do it.
Okay, so this is what we're thinking. We were gonna call Jonathan that works down here at the parks. We'll put him on speakerphone and just talk to him for a second. And then say, hey, Jonathan, will you try smiling as big as you can? And then we'll ask him another question or two.
Yeah, I don't have any mics. Like, imagine I'm on the phone with a customer at my desk. I'm alone, so nobody's seeing me.
Yeah, we got that. We got that fusion.
Oh, I call him. No, still. Yeah. My body posture is all.
Are you talking?
Yeah, okay, let's here we go.
Hello.
Oh, hey, do you have just a minute?
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, I forgot to follow up with Lenny. I was curious, whatever happened with that headliner on the Nissan Frontier?
It's already put on. I think it's already detailed.
Oh, nice. Okay, cool. Okay, could you do me a really weird favor?
Sure.
Could you like sit up really straight and smile like really big, and I'm gonna ask you another couple of questions. I know it seems weird. Okay. Well, actually, Clint's gonna ask you something. That's it.
Okay.
So the next thing I wanted to ask you is about the airbag modules on the Nissan Versa. Do you remember which Versa it is that we put out with the airbag light still on?
The black one, isn't it? Like a 2016?
I think so, and I know that we had sent one to Springville, but they just recently sold it, and I can't remember what happened with the other one.
Yeah, no, I'm not really, I can't remember. I know there was one that I think it was a black one, but not really sure.
All right. What was the biggest win from yesterday? Like what went really well yesterday? Do you
Oh,
felt
like
good?
what?
Yeah, like with cars or any parts or anything that you felt good about yesterday?
We got this G35 that's pretty banged up.
Oh, yeah.
47.
Yeah, left front fender, yeah.
Yeah, we pretty much already got the bumpers, headlights and everything that's on it. Not a decent price, but it was the factory, so that was nice.
Nice job, dude. All right, well, that was a social experiment. Sorry to bother you, but we really appreciate all you do, man.
Okay.
Thanks, John. We'll see you.
All right.
All right, see you. All right, that didn't work.
Well, he always has like a happy tone in his voice.
Yeah. We should try to carry
Okay, stop. The reason that that's funny to you guys is because jokes are like twist something, right?
Yeah.
So then that means that there's something to that. So if she was to now talk to you with a big smile on her face, would you be able to feel the difference on the other end of the phone,
Yeah.
even though you couldn't see her?
Like if you would have done that with her though, because when we call and ask her questions, like,
Oh,
I'm not talking crap, let's try it.
You don't. Okay,
No,
here's the
do
thing. Here's the thing. If you called her and asked her something, and then you passed the phone over to me, then the demeanor would change.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Everyone, we won't do it because we're running out of time.
Never with connection, like, oh, yes.
Yeah.
Of course I'll do it right now.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, you guys can experiment with that on your own.
Right. Okay, so now your challenge is, because she's like the customer, right? The customers hate your guts. How can you get her to like you and be happy to help you?
Big Marty said, oh, okay.
But the takeaway.
Can you bring this over?
Good idea, great idea, dude. I love that. So the takeaway is the way that we are inside transmits through the phone and for sure transmits in person. So that's something that we can change and we can make a difference. Fair?
There's some great monologues on YouTube in the movie Boiler Room about that. I don't know if you guys have seen that one, on the phones. Because it's like, I mean, it's a chop shop that's selling fake investments, right? But Ben Affleck gives a big speech about that. And he says, when you're talking, when you're pitching customers, don't sit down, walk around. You know, motion brings emotion. That's what he says.
Motion brings.
Yeah, it's kind of cool.
It's
Say.
Act as if you're the.
Yeah. I would just.
Will you guys experiment? Let's all remind each other to smile, and on the phones, let's just try it. I mean, what does it hurt? Sit up straight, or let's walk around, and let's do it. Okay. Okay, this was just a quick one. It may not always be practical, it may not always be good, but if you offer somebody something as they enter your dealership, that's a welcoming action. So in the hot summer, if we have some little bottles of water, some little candy dish, offer me a place to sit. Hey, I'm going to give you keys for that. You're welcome to sit right here. That makes people feel more comfortable than if there's just a sofa and they're kind of like a little bit unsure. So offering things, hey, just so you know, I'm working on your paperwork, the restroom's right around. You're being invited, being welcome. Yeah.
Marty, these are names.
There's all kinds of techniques you guys can learn about to memorize names quickly. Once they tell you a name, you go through these quick little steps in your head and kind of ingrain it in there, use it a few times, and you'll actually know the name. And if you want to do a conversation, naturally,
Can I say something?
yeah.
Well, that worked for me. I started saving some of my customers, pretty much all the customers, the number. So when they call me,
In your contacts.
on my contacts. I mean, it's hard because nobody will have, those contacts in the phone. But when they call me, they know, they say like, hey, hello, Samantha. It's like, oh, oh yeah. So they feel way better. Instead of like, who's calling? Oh, you need
James teach you that. No, that's awesome. No, thank you for sharing. I love it. That's powerful. This is one of my big ones, and I won't spend a lot of time on it, but I feel like, kind of like we do this every day, we kind of know how it's going to go. They do it every so often. they're unsure, just like when you guys walked in this room and you didn't quite know what the heck was going on. If we can replace those feelings of unsurety with feelings of reassurance, it makes them feel more settled, it builds more confidence that, hey, I can trust this person. So one way that I like to do that, and we can experiment with it, is just kind of throughout the whole process, let them know 1 or 2 steps. You know, hey, feel free to take a seat right here. I'm going to go get that cooler that we talked about, put it around for you, and then I'll take you out and get you set up. Then do that. And then before they leave, say, when we come back, park it right here. I'll try to be watching for you, but if not, walk inside and we can test drive some more, or we can sit down and talk more about this one. And just continue throughout the whole process, tell them 1 or 2 steps ahead, this is what's going to be next, and then follow through with it. And it just makes them feel settled.
So like if we were going to experiment with that for this meeting, we would say, in about 7 minutes, we're going to go ahead and wrap up, we'll grab their swords, and then we're going to sharpen after we do the craft.
That would be cool. Right. Yeah. You know, it's quick and easy, and it kind of just guides the process too.
And does that make it so that they kind of get used to doing whatever you say, and they like start to trust you?
So it's also some subliminal programming. You're telling them what to do, they're doing it. On little things like take a seat right here on the couch, it's pretty non-confrontational. Well, now, sign right here, they're a little more likely to sign right there. Because you were talking about someone so, yeah. Talk through this one. This one to me is huge. This one's massive in my mind.
Well, and you're the best at it.
You do it?
Yeah.
Customers are uneasy on our type of parking lots. They're in a new car, they're not familiar with it, it's crowded, they're unsure. So they go out there and now they've got all these negative emotions going on, while they're already in a car, which is something that gives If we say, we're going to go, I'm going to pull this car around for you, and then while we're doing it,
It's on.
that's what we get the radio to a good volume, put it on a station you think they might like based on your fact finding, get the temperature appropriate for the time, get the seat about where it would be for the height of that person, drag your left foot on the brake while you're moving it to burn the rotors, the rust off the rotors so they don't squeak the first time that people move the car. In the summer, drop the windows, get all the hot air, the stinky smells out, freshen the car a little bit. Leave the door open for them, walk them, once you pull it around and you have it there, walk them to the door, get them settled, tell them, hey, take your time, get the ears adjusted, get comfortable with it. I've got it aimed so that you can pull right out the parking lot this way. It makes them feel so good. It takes away so much of the negative, it replaces it with positive, and it's not that hard to do. It doesn't really cost us anything. As opposed to, yeah, here's the key, let me know if you like it, I'll leave you here, we'll be back. Obviously, the difference is.
So basically, depending on where you're at with them, if they're already in the store, you would say something like, hey, Mr. Customer, I'm going to pull the car over, so you're going to tell them what you're going to do. I'm going to pull the car over and get the AC going, or the heater going at this winter time. I'm going to pull the car over and get the AC going.
Dealer plate in it for you.
Oh, and I'll get a dealer plate in it for you. Just go ahead and stand here where it's comfortable just for a minute, and I'll pull it right up next to the door.
On a side note, we're working on maybe having little tablets at the dealerships with some little short videos that tell them more about us, about the company and things. And maybe we could even say, hey, if you're interested, you can click on these icons and watch some of these, or they'll put on their phone.
That's cool.
Always a cool idea. Yeah. Just so that it's not dead time for them while you're taking those few minutes.
And so then we do what we just barely told them, so we pull the car up there. And then maybe before we send them on a test drive, we say, hey, Mr. Customer, it's, kind of tight to park these cars in here. If you don't mind, when you come back, just park right here and point to a spot. Wherever you want to choose, like you want to get them used to doing whatever you want them to do. So typically you'll have a spot, hey, and then just park right here. And if you want to drive another car, I'll have the other car ready for you.
And again, it takes away some of that uncertainty. They pull in the lot and they're like not quite sure. So, cool. Got a couple more. We're doing here. This is one that I had a real life experience on Wednesday. We were out at the lots. There was a young couple driving a Mitsubishi Eclipse. They had been to Lot 4. They had been to Andrew North, where I talked to them. And then I saw them down at the main lot with Eduardo, same customer. Gloria had me come and visit with them for a few minutes. They were concerned about a sunroof not working on a BMW 5 Series that they had tested in at Lot 4. they pretty much said to me, the salesperson, and I'm not picking on lot 4, I don't know who it was, and that's not the point of this. The takeaway is, they said, yeah, the salesperson didn't even come out with it. We told them the sunroof didn't work, we couldn't figure it out, and they didn't even come out and try to figure it out with this. So we're not sure if it's really broken or we didn't know how to use it. They just kind of didn't really say anything about it. The takeaway is, when customers have those concerns, if we validate the concern and we're willing to go out and look at it with them, we may not be able to solve it. I can solve the sunroof one. It's broken, it had notes in Finance Express, it was $79.95. But if we go out and show an interest, and, hey, can you show me what the concern is? Look at the car with them. They just feel like we take them more serious, that we actually care. Maybe we're not even going to solve the problem, but we've already done a lot just by acknowledging it and taking a look at it. So.
And this is a secret that will help you in your relationships.
Marriages.
So marriages, boyfriend, girlfriend, with your kids. This is something that I'm working on with my wife. In fact, I came up with like a process for validation, and I have it actually just sitting on my desk that I'm working on right now. And you guys have given me lots of feedback to say, you don't listen to us, which means you're not validating, right? And so I know that I'm not, so I'm trying to work on it. So this is something that I'm personally working on right now.
Yeah. My wife usually doesn't want me to solve the problem, she just wants me to acknowledge, wow, that must be really hard for you. Yeah, so. Okay. I think we have just a couple more, and then we're at a minute time. Although this is a question that's fast. Okay. So we're not implementing a dress code. One of the things Clint and I like about Automax is that we can, have a little bit of latitude with ourselves. But let's just acknowledge the reality. How we're dressed does affect how people look at us. So that's a quick example of, I agree with Gloria. If I wore this to work every day selling cars at Automax, it would actually intimidate a lot of people. I think it would be overdressed and inappropriate. But maybe something more like that would look better than the workout sweats and the t-shirt.
So why can't we just get like Automax polos?
That's what I mean.
We've talked about it in the past. Many people were resistant, but we definitely.
We can revisit the idea. I think it's fairly apparent. One quick tip that I would just pass on that I've experienced in my own life. If I'm in a sales slump or I'm struggling emotionally or I'm just not feeling the energy to want to go to work and do what I've got to do, that's the time that I most might want to wear jeans and a t-shirt or a hoodie or whatever. But that's the time that I most need to probably step it up and dress a little nicer to get myself out of that funk. So, quick little tip, if you're in a funk, just dress up a little bit nicer for however long it takes. It does help. You feel better about yourself.
Because I guess the reality is people respond differently. Like if we go dressed like this to a bank right now or anywhere, the way that people will respond to us versus if we go how we were dressed first.
Ricky walks in and calls the police.
Right. I mean, it will make a difference, right?
No, that's calling the police. Yeah, you'll call the cops. Well, no, so I've never considered why it makes you feel better, but a lot of it might be people just treat you better and then you feel better.
Yeah.
So that's a good point.
Yeah. So if you're down, dress up. Dressing up may bring the spirits up.
Okay, I want to pass around real quick. There's two sheets here, if you each take one. I grabbed one off the top, one off the bottom, yeah. Read this on your own when you get a minute. It's out of the Augment, the greatest salesperson in the world. I have a few copies. This is from my original copy, and it has notes in there that I wrote in 1998 when this section made a big impression on me. We won't even read it right now. This is the part that I marked that stood out to me. I will read this day with love in my heart, and it's about actually thinking the words "I love you" as you approach a customer. Marcos and Clint talked about this a few months ago. It's cheesy sounding, but humorous. Read it, experiment with it. My thought is basically this: as we're approaching a customer, whatever's going on inside of us, like we talked about, the people will perceive. So a few things you could try to think about. This love in your heart idea, or we talked about Tom Cruise on Castaway, how happy he would be to see another human being. If we had that level of happiness, yeah.
It's on the back behind us.
No,
Or one last thought on as you're getting ready to go greet a new customer for the first time. What if you imagine in your mind, hey, this person's bringing me a really valuable gift. Like this person actually has like a valuable a lot of cash in their hand that they're gonna give me, that I get to keep. We would feel better about seeing that person. I won't even say all the negative things that we often say in our hearts when we see a customer and I've said them pointing this out. But just if we can replace it with those positives, you know, I love you, you're bringing us a gift, or you're Tom Cruise who's been starving for human interaction, and now you get to be better than you do. That'll help us. Any wrap-ups, any thoughts? I think we're out of time. It's 9:30 on the dot.
So, using our strategy next week, yeah, please.
No, just when you're done.
Ooh,
Yeah.
yes, no, this is actually good. So as another strategy that we can use, this came up, I was listening to Ricky on the phone the other day. He made an appointment, which was awesome, for Saturday for a lady to come down and look at a car. Yeah, for Flex. But another thing that he could have done, that we talked about, was to use that valet to get the car to the customers later that same day. Please.
Yeah, so we're up to almost 40 drives, just so you guys know, between Automax and Drive Auto, and then we have Shamrock that just started up in Pleasant Grove, and then AC Auto is coming on Monday. But I'm starting to push it because we're at a 52% closing ratio. So when people pay to see the cars, you have a 52% closing ratio right now. You know, so it's just it's like the same psychological stuff we're talking. I mean, I talked to Ricky about it. I've got an email that I've been sending back, like, you know, that's just kind of like I copy and paste it. That as soon as we get an email in, I'm bringing a response to that, just to give us a chance to engage the customer, you know, quickly. But if we use it as a tool, just know that it's gonna, the people paying to see the car, they're gonna buy the car. If the car's right, if the car smells right and drives right, they're gonna buy it. You know,
1 out of 2 are gonna buy it.
1 out of 2 are gonna freaking buy it, which is a pretty good ratio, you know. So, anyways, I'll stop by and give you guys the email, but just know that like it's working. Keep it in your back pocket.
And there's no harm in offering it, you know, like Ricky's lady, he could have offered it, she might have said, no, I'm not interested, I'll just come Saturday. Okay, but at least she knew it was a chance and an opportunity to send it up that night.
Well, and we've even used it as a way to create urgency. You know, I mean, me and Eric had a lady on a Veloster, and anyways, and she was interested in seeing the car like the next day or whatever, right? And I was like, well, hey, I sent her a text picture of the conversation Eric's having, because here's me talking to my customer on it. And I'm like, hey, there's someone else that's gonna look at the car. She's like, oh, we ended up doing a $100 deposit right then, plus the valet service. And they still had problems with the car when they saw it. They, you know, they're like, oh, it's got this, and that. And he offered me, he wanted a $700 discount total. And he ended up getting a $0 discount. And he got a wax job over at Supersonic Car Wash and a full tank of gas.
And a lot of it's probably because he had already put some money.
And I actually, yeah, they put money down, they already spent on the drive. So anyways, just know it's not a fluke.
And right now, we kind of have a competitive advantage, you know, until this gets rolled out. So I mean, not everyone can offer this, so we have a competitive advantage. So, awesome.
Yes, thank you for being here. Thanks for experiencing those 2 experiences. Let's try to give our customers more of the second experience.
Yes, right? Grab them swords.
There's a t-shirt. Dude, seriously, yeah, I really love it yesterday. Well, it's great. ¿Qué pasó? ¿Yo te la puedo? A ver, yo puedo.
You can watch the video.
I want to see it, I'm really gonna watch it.
Oh, do you send out the thing to us yet? Do you send out a link?
I can.
Yeah.
And
we have a YouTube channel.
I don't know if she has all their emails, but if you forward it to me, I could.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
And then when you go to the link, just go to our YouTube channel. There's a bunch of videos. There's all these plus all the ones that Steve worked on.
Ah, exactly. You wanna do it?
Where's your sword, Ricky?
This one's the my favorite.
Where's your plate?
I didn't take nothing, man. What are you talking about? Did you look behind the chair? I bet you didn't.
No.
You should look for your stuff, man. Not everything's, comes easy. You gotta work for it. Were you at the meeting? Huh?
You justify stealing people's stuff.
Yes.
Here's the keys. I'll be in here.
Gotta work for it.
Yeah. Drive it.
If I call the cops, they're gonna believe me over you.
Alright, he challenges you to a duel for that stunt.
Alright, let's go, bro.
Okay. You do it?
No, go ahead, I'll yell out though.
Okay. We're
Motivated, skilled, united.
We are
Motivated, skilled, united.
Alright.
Yeah.
Good job. Anyone who wants to keep?
Couple more times. I would think that we could like cut watermelons or something, but then it makes them all sticky and nasty, so.
It's so
Que tú no entiendes, el peor se queda tú, clean them up.
Tiene que... It's on YouTube, man?
This one looks like this side. This looks like an Aztec plate. Or an ant farm.
I'll just tell you one thing. My instincts, my gut instincts are never wrong.
Exactly.
They're never wrong. And I ignore them more than I should.
You're like, this doesn't feel right. Sparks flying, blades sharpening.